Welcome back to our Faith Talk series while we're still in the season of Easter. Let me begin by acknowledging that we all have doubts about God's reach in the world. Of course we do. All we have to do is open our eyes, look around, read a headline or two. We see how heavy, how dark the world is. What particular form of doubt do you struggle with, even in the midst of resurrection joy? For Christ trails a fragrance of beauty and goodness and oneness. Do you struggle to believe that human harmony is possible in all its diversity and grandeur? I do. Or seriously question that there will be peace for all souls, the unborn, the elderly, and the sick, migrants and refugees. Can anyone but wonder if we will ever again live in sync with a fertile and balanced planet where there's enough clean water and food to go around for everyone? Now, imagine the joy of Thomas as he put his hands into the nail prints in the side of Jesus. Thomas, feeling Jesus' scars while looking into the smiling eyes of the Master, who is no longer bleeding. I will circle back to Thomas, but allow me to begin a story that occurred about 5 years ago when I was engaged to get married. I went to the gym and I felt a lump under my armpit. And I kept putting it off, but then eventually I went to see the doctor who did a test and confirmed I had a rare form of lymphoma. The scary part, I was without health insurance, and our marriage counselor, Deacon Paul Weber, he suggested we have a private ceremony so that I could get on my wife's Army insurance. I was planning to get on Obamacare because I needed to have solid insurance to begin chemo treatment. A month after we were married, I started outpatient care, and a few months after that, we got married in a beautiful public service. And then I was able to start inpatient care, leading up to 3 weeks of the harsh chemos and a stem cell transplant in July and August. It was 4 weeks I was in the hospital. The oncologist said that I would have a 1 to 3% chance of mortality. I had death dreams. It was very scary because we took the most rigorous treatment plan. On top of that, our oncologist informed us that because of the chemos, I would be infertile. Now, can you imagine how crushing that was to my wife, who really, really wanted to have a baby? I was a little more indifferent because about a bio baby. I had worked in orphanages in Kingston, Jamaica, and Honduras, and I saw the great need of children without parents. They radiated tremendous joy, but there's tremendous need for parents. Not only that, I've been reading the brutal truth about where things are heading if we do not take bold decisions now to address climate change. We considered fertility options, but we found the Lord's consolation most in taking steps toward adoption. We first became foster care parents for 9 months for a very lively 14-year-old boy, Jordan. My oncologist did give us hope that I would have a 40% chance of recovery after at least 3 years had gone by since final treatment. Now, we didn't give this much thought. Maybe we were afraid to. In this past January, 3.5 years since the final treatment, my wife kept a few signs of her personal experience hidden from me. What she was feeling, the possibility that she might be late, significantly late. She was afraid of taking a pregnancy test. We both had been disappointed before in similar situations. But one morning in mid-February, while I was slowly waking up, Maria came into the bedroom crying out, Doug, you have to look at this. It was a plastic stick with 2 lines on it. I was not impressed. I could, like Thomas and his friends, I could see Maria's excitement. I heard the excitement in her voice, but I did not believe. 3 agonizing weeks later, we drove to Dundalk for our first OB appointment. I feared for the worst while I waited in the parking lot. Maria had a stoic look on her face as she returned with a file into her arms. In the car, she opened the file and I saw the sonogram picture for the first time. This was 2 months ago. Maria just had another full baby scan this week. As I was praying on the empty tomb of Mary and Peter, and the appearance of Jesus to his disciples, especially Thomas, it took on new meaning for me this Easter. My wife is overjoyed. I can hardly begin to tell you how happy she is day after day. You have to understand that neither of us quite believed that this was God's will for us. So it was on Easter weekend that we shared our good news with our family and friends. One side story, my father died 2.5 years ago, and I was imagining my father, and I know he's in heaven, that there were like beams of light that shared the baby with my father. And he was a young man, maybe in his 30s or so, and he had the most beautiful, joyous smile, cradling Eddie Jr. We're naming the baby after my dad. And then Dad returned the baby to the light, and the baby returned to Maria's womb. Let me ask you, where do you most need to find Easter hope in our world? Because Jesus came to redeem the entire world. For me, it's in knowing this, that God is the Father of us all and infinitely desires the very best for all his children. And not only for the unborn, but for children 5, 10, 50 years old. And not only for children born in the United States, but for his children born in Africa and South America, in island nations, China, all of Asia. I find great comfort in knowing this, because the love that we feel for our unborn child, that the child will have a long and flourishing life and might enjoy sports and certainly enjoy oceans and forests and nature, at least as much as I have, that this love is but a small ray of sunshine. Think about the great love that you feel for your children. It's a ray of sunshine, just a ray. But the Father's heart is the sun itself, an endless energy pack of desire and love and compassion and power to forgive and to heal and to transform all things, to transform all injustices. Now, this sun, you can think of it two ways. In a quite literal sense, how the sunshine is there for all of humanity, to save humanity and to protect our earth and to return some balance. But the sun is also Jesus Christ, whose heart is a perfect reflection of God the Father, whose endless love is to forgive and to heal and transform our world. So I know that no matter how dark and stormy the skies are, we know that the sun always shines, and that social tipping points are more than possible in the fight for a healthy and flourishing planet, interwoven with a strong and equitable economy that provides enough goods for all God's children. It's what our Father, our Mother wants for everyone who has ever lived, a new heavens and a new earth. Glory be to God.